Busi, let me repeat that question. Let's talk about the decision to get into this campaign and lobby for the UK to remove South Africa off the red list. Because earlier in the year, back in May, we had Tourism SA advocating for the same initiative.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the invitation. I think from where things are at the moment, I think let's agree that the continued ban is simply illogical, because I think we have demonstrated without any shadow of doubt as South Africa that we are actually doing very well, in terms of monitoring our infection rates. South Africa is no longer a country with a variant of concern, which was beta, which was the reason why we were put on the red list in the first place. And this has been confirmed by the NICD. So we're sitting with the UK that actually hasn't updated their science ever since they put us on the red list in December 2020. And they keep on harping on the Beta variant, which is prevalent in South Africa. And we know that this is no longer the case because the Beta variant has now since been overtaken by the Delta variant. But also when you look at the average number of daily infections in South Africa, you would see that these have halved over the past 2 weeks. So a reduction in the number of infections has also been responsible, for why we are now on alert level 2. But also the number of infections in South Africa, are a quarter less than the number of infections in the UK. So it is also lower than what it is in most EU countries, which are currently on the amber list, such as France, Greece, Portugal, Belgium, and the Netherlands. So it doesn't therefore make sense, leaving South Africa on the red list when actually, out of the 6 countries that had initially imposed the travel ban on South Africa, the 4 have since lifted the ban. So it's only the UK and Australia which still remains. So we are appealing, I think, to logic in as far as this issue is concerned.
How confident are you that you will get a positive response, now that you have some of these big companies that are players in the UK market, especially when it comes to raising capital?
We are hoping that reason will prevail and the evidence, and the data that we're presenting to the UK government in terms of how we are managing, our COVID infections will actually supersede, any other consideration that is currently at the table and would actually allow them to see reason. But also when you look at it, you would see that Africa is critical to the UK's long-term prospects. So this is not just South Africa, begging for the lifting of the travel restrictions. This is also important for the UK. We are a continent of over 1.3 billion people, and Africa's population is forecast to exceed about 2.5 billion by 2050. This is very strategic for the UK, and you would see that this is the reason why they even have a Minister of Africa in the UK government, precisely because they understand the importance of South Africa as a trading partner in particular. And at the moment, we're actually seeing a very serious issue around the impact of trade on tourism, in the South African economy. And I think this is a huge disadvantage to the UK government as well. So I think these are all the issues that we are actually lifting to the fore and actually bringing them to their attention, so that in making their decision on Thursday, they can therefore consider all these facts that we would have presented them with.
All right. So I read the letter that you did send to the Prime Minister. From a pragmatic perspective, what happens when they do deny this on concerns that we might go into a 4th wave and perhaps our vaccination rate isn't moving as quick as they would expect?
We have actually started this campaign, I think, with government leading the charge in the Minister, of International Trade, Minister Naledi Pandor. So what we're doing as business, we are actually just intensifying, the path, the journey, and the efforts that have already been started by government. And we are actually somehow confident, that I think we will actually get this right. So we've been declined before, but I think that with the new facts that have actually been presented, and I think the fact that the economic impact, and the strategicness of South Africa or of Africa as a continent to the UK will hopefully, make the UK government see reason, as it were. We're sitting in an environment where the UK is very important for South African tourism industry, and the ban has really had a devastating impact on South Africa's already embattled tourism sector. Pre-COVID, we would get about 450,000 arrivals from the UK, making it the biggest international travel source. And it's estimated that the ban is costing the South African economy more than 2.4 billion in lost tourism spend. So I think these are all the issues that we're actually trying to bring. Yeah.
And definitely we do support that these are the issues that we are trying to bring to the fore, especially when you look at the numbers and the costs that and the impact that it's having on the tourism industry. Busi, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for making time to talk to us. That is Busi Mavuso, who is the CEO of Business Leadership South Africa.